let's talk about the fact that you're much more ready now than you think you are.
Agreed.
So where this stems from, again, Austin, the creator of the topic here,
Boom.
where this stems from is Austin gets to hear this from time to time and just staying in the peripherals. We hear this all the time where people talk about like, when I get to this level, I'm going to do X, or I'm not big enough to do this yet, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And the whole idea of this topic is you are absolutely ready to do whatever it is you think whatever it is you're thinking about, right? So, for instance, let me just give you some real stuff. Like some people will say, like, when I get big enough, then I'll roll out like a prepaid maintenance agreement or a planned maintenance agreement or some kind of routine annual visit with monthly costs, like monthly auto credit billing or whatever. And people feel like they have to be a certain size before they do that. You can do that from day one. You can draft that up. You can figure out how all the mechanics work on the back end, how to charge the credit cards monthly. You can figure out all that. And you can do it day one.
People feel like they doubt themselves because they don't want to, one, get shot down, right? Two, they think the only way people are going to think I'm legitimate and take advantage of, like in this example of that program, is if they think I'm X size. Mm-hmm. And that's not true. If they trust it, and let's be honest, when you go out on your own, people don't know how big you are unless you're telling them, oh, well, this is my second call. First off, don't ever freaking do that.
Yeah.
Act like you're the biggest, baddest, best company on the road.
Yep.
Like everyone else.
Yep. One of the things that I did when I started out, even though it was just me, my wife was answering calls, and doing books and stuff, I would tell people we do this, we do that, we did this last week, we have this coming up, we can get you on the scale. Like it was never I, it was always we. And I also never told people I owned the company. I wanted them to think I was just a service tech at Smedley Plumbing, right? And so most of the people that I visited didn't know I owned the company. And because of the way I talked, it was kind of crazy. A lot of people would ask, like, how many plumbers work with you there? You know, and not for me, with me, right? How many plumbers are over there? How big is Smedley?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the only one. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you said we. Well, it's my wife and I. But yeah. And then it would be like, so does that mean you're Mr. Smedley? Like they like you could watch them come to that. But
yeah, their brain's working.
Yeah,
right?
But like that's a successful experience with that customer, because up until that moment, they thought they were dealing with a larger company than they were, and the larger the company, the more trust the customer has.
Yeah,
right.
Well, and people don't like when you come out and like you come in and say, "Hi, I'm Mr. Smedley, owner of Smedley Plumbing. I'm here to do your," like people like it just comes off as arrogant, even if you're not meaning it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what arrogant D-bags do.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't work. You automatically create. It's not mistrust is not the right word, but it's what am I looking for, Mitch? It's not mistrust, but you're not building the relationship before they come to that on their own.
Well, you're just making them have a different perception of the company than they rightfully should have. That's the biggest thing. Like their perception should be you are an employee of a larger company. You don't want them thinking you're the one-man show.
No.
And the reason why is because people have been taken advantage of by the one-man show. People are a little sketched out by the guy who's doing it all, right? And so you want your company to appear slightly larger than it actually is, especially when you're a one-man show. Now, obviously, there's caveats to everything. Yeah. I've got a really good friend of mine. His name's Kyle. Has a one-man plumbing company out in Independence, not too far from here. He very upstanding, very professional, carries himself incredibly well. Like he does the one-man show as right as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say you don't like have to, like Kyle makes it work, right? But he also doesn't go, like his company's not named after him. His company's called Devoted Plumbing. And so, you know, it doesn't carry the same, you know, risks when you're talking to a customer and it's Smedley and then they find out your last name's Smedley and so on.
And it's different too. Like when we talk about things on the show, we have to kind of say that we're speaking in the grand scheme of things. those ideas like that you were just talking about we and all, that works more often than the one-man show that is coming out there, this is my place, this is that, blah, blah, blah. Like, there are certain customers that they want a one-man show.
Right.
They want to know that when they call me, I'm coming out.
Right.
Not some Joe Blow because they got burned by a company that was Joe Blow's. But those are the outliers.
They are the outliers.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's only 20% of the customer base.
Right.
Well, we want you to access 80% of the customer base.
Right.
Not 20%.
Right.
And so when we talk about things that aren't necessarily, how do I say this? When we know people are going to be like, well, that's just not true because my one-man show does this. Like, my one-man show did that.
Yeah.
Like, it was great. But that's not everyone can't do that. It doesn't work for everyone.
Well,
those are small niche markets.
And
niche ways to handle things.
The driver of a one-man show, staying a one-man show and losing trust with his customers is he has an I mentality. And the successful one-man shows have a we mentality. Even if they never graduate above just themselves, the we includes them and their customers.
Yeah.
Whereas the guys that are taking customers for a ride and stealing their money and doing crappy work and everything else, it's an I mentality. They're selfish and they want the money and they deliver crappy work, and they're in it to win for themselves instead of for them and the customer to win. And so, you know, I'm not going to say like it's not suicide if you tell people you own the company, but it's a lot better if they don't know you're the owner.
To start the relationship for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they just personally know you.
Yeah.
But that's totally different. We're talking about blind customers.
Yeah. Some customer calls you off the blue, found you on Google.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to go in there and be like, haha, I'm the owner. Because now they're going to expect discounts. They're going to treat you like customers talk to you totally different.
Yeah.
When they think you're an employee versus when they think you're an owner.
Yeah. You know, and it's weird. You would think that as an owner, people would not try to haggle you on your price. But when they know you're the owner, they know that you have the power to change that price.
Yeah, they'll haggle you more.
Yeah, they haggle you more.
Yeah.
And they know that, like, as an employee, if they think you're an employee, they automatically think, oh, there's no way that this guy's going to be able to just give me a price. He's going to have to call, and they're going to have to do this. And like, I'm not saying people won't do it because they do it all the time, but it's an extra step for them, which is just one more thing that you don't have to deal with.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And another aspect of this, it's similar, but respecting the customer and treating your very first customers like you would if you had been in business for 5 years. So it's like basically, you know, treating the customer that they're paying you $100 and, you know, you're doing whatever work you can for them, not saying like, oh, well, you know, I'm to yourself, well, I'm new, so like whenever I get to this level, then I'll do the full quality, you know, like treating them like they're the most important people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that aspect of it.
So what you were talking about as far as the customer stuff goes, another aspect of this is your pricing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys at one-man show will be like, well, I'll charge those rates when I get bigger. Charge those rates now.
You're still offering, we've talked about this 1,000 times. You're still offering the same service, if not better service.
If not better.
Especially in the heating and cooling realm.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you call, I don't want to say any big companies, but you call a big company, you get some kid out there that doesn't know what he's doing. He's overcharging your unit. He's undercharging your unit. Didn't even check if the filter was dirty.
Right.
When you have someone that's a one-man show come to your house, or someone this is why you have the hours guarantee on your guys, right? Like, you know they're legit.
Yeah.
They're coming out. Like, you're getting the best service.
Yeah.